in this area. This is the Water Street to Chandler Street area. Chandler Street, this area around the university, across from the university with the old bookstore, they're at 22.5% last week and still at 22%, moved up to 22.9, but that is our lower percentage. That is our trouble there. We've got to get that up. We need some help. So anybody you know in that area, please, anybody who needs some boots on the ground, let's do it, get in touch with it, let's make it happen. Then we have Ike Road, Hunter Street, Nancy Street, George Street, Cedar Street, down Railroad Avenue. 51.4 moved up to 52.5. Our next lowest area, of course, is going to be Ellison Street, Washington Avenue, Battle Street, and Colbert Street. Those are just some, these are not all the streets, but these are some of the streets in what I'm calling this individual tracts, called Census tract. So these are not all of the streets in that tract, but that's give you the general area. We need some work there. 38% did not move, did not change. Then we go to Atkin Drive, Brewer Street, Vaughn Street, Lewis Street. Last week 45.2, little movement, moved 45.6, very little. And then of course, Benner and Benson Avenue area, Howard Road, and Nona Street. This is my area that we're gonna rock it. It didn't have any change. 44.9 stayed the same. Then down in the rural area, Tysonville, Hardaway area. Last week 55.7 moved up to 56.7. And then Warrior Stand, Hannah, down in that area, that tract. Last week 48.7 moved up to 49.3. You see, we don't have anything overall to be shouting about, but that means that we got so much to get excited about to go and hit the road. We need people on the ground. We need you walking the streets, on the phone. Somebody had a mass today that says, assume that the person you're looking at right now has not completed their census, and ask them about the census. So that's what we have right now, Dr. Brooks, and we're going to really work that this week.
All right, well that is good information for our community to know. So tell me again, I heard that there was one tract that was less than 50%, less than 40%, less than 30%. So we want to make sure everybody in the community knows where that is, and if you live there, please help us with that tract. Name those streets again for us, Chairman.
These are the ones that's less than 50%. It's going to be Water Street, Chandler Street. That's going to be tract number.
Water Street, Chamblee Street.
And then you're going to move down. You have Ellison Street, Washington Avenue.
Ellison Street, Washington Avenue.
Aiken Drive, Brewer Street.
Aiken Drive, Brewer Street.
And then, of course, Benner and Benson Avenue, Howard Road, and Nona Street.
Benner, Benson Avenue, Howard Road, and Nona Street.
And out in the county, rural area, you got Warrior Stand, Hannah, down in County Road 2 area.
Warrior Stand and Hannah, my stomping ground. Wake up, Warrior Stand and Hannah.
Those are the ones that's under 50% at this time.
Okay, those are under 50% at this time. So guys, we need those streets. If you know anyone, you have relatives on those streets, you have acquaintances, associates, let's get those census forms filled out. And
anyone who desires to have a copy of this information, if you would text me your email address, 334-339-1832. I'll be happy to share these statistics with you so that you can have them in hand. That's 334-339-1832.
all right, that's wonderful. That was 334-339-1832.
That's
if you would
correct.
like to get that information in your hands, and we do update it weekly. All right, we're going to turn the camera here, and Commissioner Mike Berry, tell us where we can hang out tomorrow if we need to get our census forms filled out and why that's important.
tomorrow we're gonna have it set up from 9 o'clock until 2, I think it is, at, Franklin,
9 to 5, isn't it?
sir,
9 to 5.
9 to 5, excuse me. It's gonna be at Franklin Town Hall, Noticeable Town Hall, the City Complex,
Sure.
and Shorter Town Hall. In all of those areas tomorrow, it's gonna be somebody there to sign you up for the census. And, let's try to get out there and get signed up, people, because like I said earlier, it means so much to you and this county. It's not just to the county, it means so much to you. And, the only way you're gonna see improvement is for everybody to fill out these census. It's so easy to get to people. Saturday afternoon, I took one road in my area, and I rode to 20 houses on that road and got 15 people that hadn't been signed up. And you know, they out there, you just got to ask them, and it's not a big problem. And hey, my number is 334-703-5795. And if you want to call me, and if you hadn't filled out them census, we'll get you signed up. Thank you.
All right, I heard you say you went to 20 homes and you got 15 people signed up. Wow, I know that helped us to get in that top 4, that final 4 with the census vote. Again, Commissioner Berry's number is 334-703-5795, and he's willing to come to your place of residence, or you can call him and he will help you get that census filled out. And you notice that he said it's very important because of resources that come to our community. And you know, the older I get, the more I learn, and it's never too late to learn. I am just now realizing at age 52 the full impact of the census, how many things it touches. So, Coach Huffman, Commissioner Huffman, can you tell us a little bit about the things the census can help us with to help our community and our residents?
Really, number one, census, first let me say that I believe that for each person that's registered with the census, I believe there's $1,500 per person. That is money for the countywide. And that money is help our school system, which I believe our school system could use the money. I believe that money also used for road and bridge. And being the county commission, we definitely could use the money for road and bridge right now. We got a machine that's in the shop that we need to pay that bill. Also, that money help with the housing authority. Also help with the feeding of our school children. That money is a blessing to the county and those that are not registered for the census. That's money that's law for the county. Please let us get registered and save this money for the county. Thank you.
All right, folks, you heard a few of the things that the census can do. And so now I want to talk about how much money the last census brought into the entire state of Alabama. And I wish we could have a button for you guys who are on Facebook or on the call-in line to buzz in to see who could get the right answer first, so we could give you one of these census buttons that our commissioners are so eloquently wearing. Guys, flex your buttons for me, please, so everybody can see that this button, advertises the census. And again, sometimes we don't know the importance of it, but this particular process brings a lot of money into our state. And so, about how much money, Commissioner Robinson, did Alabama realize from the census in our last completion?
It's as you stated, Superintendent, a lot of resources, a lot of money is flowing into our states from the federal as a result of the census. $13 billion with a B. $13 billion is at stake. If we don't return the census, then the federal government will not know the population, and the census and the resources that come into the state are solely based on the population and the count of the census. So it's very critical, very important. $13 billion, as our colleague has stated, all these programs, whether it be housing, education, roads, bridges, community development, economic development, all those resources are channeled down from the federal government to the state, and they're distributed out in forms of grants and other methods of getting monies to the communities.
Okay, so let me be clear. You didn't say $13. You didn't say 1,300. You didn't say 13,000. You didn't say 13 million.
No.
What did you say?
13 billion with a B. 13.
Wow. Wow. I hope everyone heard that the census brought into the state of Alabama $13 billion. Now let me add that money came in with us having a response rate around 67% in the state of Alabama. Can you imagine how much more we could have brought into the state of Alabama had our response rate been high?
Exactly. There is a number on the national level of $675 billion that was accrued across the country. Now imagine if our response rate had been up, as you mentioned, how much more of that $675 billion would have come to Alabama as opposed to going somewhere else where they had a better response rate or better population count or response to the census. That's our important critical of just returning the simple form of a few 5 or 6 questions, and it can be done in 5 or 6 minutes, and you're counted, and that money is accruing. By doing that, you're not only being counted, but you're contributing to the resources available to your fellow population here in the state and in your local community.
6 minutes can improve the quality of life for all citizens in Macon County. 6 minutes. All right, moving to our chairman. Now, there was a discussion that we were having informally the other day that intrigued me. And that discussion centered around the geographical lines for the various districts in the commission. So talk to me a little bit, Chairman Maxwell, about how lines are drawn or redrawn because of the census count, if you will.
Well, as everyone knows, Macon County has 4 districts, and by law, each district should be close to possible equally populated. And 2010 census caused us to have to change our district lines, because in District 2, I believe, the census showed that there was a decrease in population. So we had to move the lines in order to take in more population to equalize the population. As a result, more than District 2 changed, because when you change District 2 line, you change District 1. District 1 line changed, so did District 3 and 4. So all the lines changed. Someone 10 years ago was in District 1. Now they're in District 2. Same thing with District 1 that may be in District 4 now, or District 2, 3. So it causes a shift at the county level, but also at the municipality and the state of Alabama. Now, if the state of Alabama does not exceed what it did last 10 years ago, there's a possibility that we will lose one of our congressional seats. And we cannot afford to lose our congressional seat, because those seats are based on the population distribution and the population in that state, which means that, you know, we are already short, and that means if we lose, we can't afford to lose anything else.
So that means when you say congressional seats, you're talking about U.S. senators and congressmen, representatives?
Representatives to the U.S. Congress. We will lose, we stand to lose one of our congressional seats.
For the state of Alabama.
For the state of Alabama.
And how serious is that?
That is very serious. That is very serious. You know, because we need as much representation as we can in Washington. You know how complicated that gets, and you need to have someone there fighting for you. When you go up against states like California that, you know, have all of these congressional districts, we need everything we can in Alabama. So what we do in Macon County not only helps Macon County, but it helps the state of Alabama move to that levels also.
Fantastic. Folks, that's our civics history lesson for today. Those particular counts control a lot of things in a municipality, in a county, and in a state. And if we don't want Alabama, Macon County, our municipalities to be in the bottom ranks when it comes to funding quality of life and community improvements, guess what? We can make a change right now with the census. You want to chime in on that, Coach Huffman?
Yes, I'd like to say in 2010, quite a few people, they didn't fill out the
Speaking
census.
to your mic, Coach Huffman.
In 2010, quite a few people didn't register for the census, and District 2 came up with almost 1,000 people short. So this is why they had to add more land wise to District 2. They added Society Hill and Brownville. So that made District 2, it's land-wise, it's our largest district.
Okay, so now I understand a little bit better. So the lines were redrawn in Macon County's District 2 because we needed to bring in about 1,000 more people to equalize the district. Because I couldn't figure out for the world of me why Society Hill area is in the same district as Cotton Valley and Bethlehem. It made absolutely no sense to me. But now that you are talking about how the districts have to have equalization of population, now I see how you have to finger those district lines out so that you can bring in more people. Folks, we need that census count. Do you see how important this is in our communities? You're sitting miles and miles away from your commissioner and you're wondering why? It comes back to the census. All right, Commissioner Berry,
Yes, ma'am.
you all have a pretty robust feeding program in the Notasulga area for your seniors. How does the census tie into our feeding programs for our senior citizens?
Well, it funds that program. The monies they get from the federal government funds the senior citizens programs in the county. And when the money's gone, the program's gone. So, you know, that's very important to get out and make sure you get counted, because you don't want your senior citizens being out there without getting the right and proper meals every day. So, you know, it's so many things the census help that people don't know, you know, like the board of education, the county roads. Yeah, we get road, if I get as many calls to fill out the census as on my phone as I do about a road, we'll get them all, we'll win the whole thing. Because we get complaints about our roads every day. And we got to have more funds to help improve these roads. And that's one of the reasons the roads are in shape they are, because people don't fill out the census. So you got to fill out them census if you want good roads.
Okay, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a few lessons about the census and making us more aware. And certainly as an aside, we hope that all of our parents and students took their virtual census field trip today to the U.S. Census Bureau so we can all have this same knowledge that our commissioners have. And it's so wonderful that they're sharing that with the public so we can all know. So feeding our senior citizens, something just that simple, we need to make sure that we do our census so our senior citizens can continue to have those meals, meals on wheels, meals at the nutrition center, all of those kinds of things. If we want to see our roads improve, and God knows I do, like you, we all talk about them. We have to have funds coming in. Pavement is not free. It's one of the most expensive things I've ever encountered. All right, let's go around to
I
the
think we
chair.
got questions on the conference call that you're taking
All right.
at this point.
We have a question on the conference call, and I'm trying to also read any questions that are coming up on Facebook. All right, let's take that question.
Identify yourself and just go ahead with the question. On the conference call.
Dr. Harrington, do you hear me?
Can you turn her mic up, please? Dr. Elaine Harrington has a question on the call. Dr. Harrington, we're going to try to turn you up just a little bit.
Hello?
Is it speaking?
Okay, you're there.
Canada?
Okay.
Hello?
Go ahead, Dr. Harrington.
Go ahead, Dr. Harrington.
I understand. All right, I'm on a Zoom, but I want to say to the Macon County representatives who are on this tonight, let's not talk about the negative. We must get this census completed. We must. You've heard all of the reasons why, including the census poll, including the representative that we could lose, but it just looks bad whenever the people who need it the most don't fill out the census form. So let's get this census completed through, in the name of the Lord. I'm sorry to say some other way, but in the name of the Lord, let's get this census completed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We had Dr. Elaine Harrington, one of our community pillars and leaders, who wanted to employ all of our citizens, that we know all of the reasons out there that we must get busy and we must get this census done. So let's follow her advice. She always leads us in the right and a positive direction. Thank you, Dr. Harrington.
I thought there may have been one other question. Did we have someone else?
I have a comment.
And who, identify yourself.
Hello, this is Reed.
Go ahead, Ms. Reed.
The commission is saying about what people will be in place tomorrow when we have the census. I just wanted to let everybody know that there also will be census workers and the Tuskegee Human and Civil Rights Protocol Center tomorrow between 9 and 1 as well.
Very well. Thank you.
They can come there tomorrow as well.
That's tomorrow at the Tuskegee Multicultural Center.
All right, so we have two other places that have come to our attention where you can go tomorrow to get your census completed. Thank you, Mr. Beecher Reed, another community leader who's indicating that you may go to the Tuskegee Civil Rights and History Center, also called the Civil Rights Museum, that is right there on Elm Street, the old City Bank. And get your census filled out there. They will be there to help between 9 and 1. We also have another community building run by Bernice Frazier and Darryl Rock, which is in the Russell Plaza. It is the SCL building, and you can go there tomorrow starting at 9 o'clock as well and get help with your census. So that's several places around the county, including each of the municipalities. That is the town of Franklin, Town Hall, the town of Novasoga, Town Hall, the town of Shorter, Town Hall, and Farmers Market, and the City of Tuskegee Municipal Complex, as well as these other two locations. So come on out or send those people who need to come. But if they can't come, call those numbers that have been given. Call those numbers.
And there's another number I want to give out, Dr. Brooks. You can call 334-724-2578. Now and someone will get back. You can call that number 24 hours a day. And I won't call you 24 hours a day. I promise you someone will call you back and help you fill your census. 334-724-2578. That's a dedicated line just for census help and questions. Local line.
Okay, that local Macon County line for the third time is 334-724-2578. Guys, we have everything we need to get really 100% completion here in Macon County. We just have to go for the gusto and get it done. And I promise you, you will see the fruits of our labor come into our county and into our communities. All right, do we have any other questions on the line? And let me check to see if we have any questions on Facebook.
Anybody on the phone, Mr. Chairman?
I don't think anybody else on the line.
All right, so my question now is, who should we be counting in our census count? Who would like to take that question? Who should we be counting? Some people say, well, my nephew lives with me, my mother-in-law lives with me. Who should we be counting in the census count?
My understanding, count anybody in your household. If they were in your household as of April 1st, they ought to be counted. They may be out right now, but if they were there on April 1st, they ought to be counted in the census. Everybody in the household. You don't need to count your dog, but count everybody in that household.
Okay, so that is every human being, including any babies that have been birthed for Macon County zip codes as of April 1st, 2020. So that's little children, teenage children, young adult children, adults in your household, grandparents, in-laws, anyone in your household under your purview needs to be included in that count. And they don't necessarily have to be, because we have some people who are in our community who may not have citizenship. They may have some type of card to be here, but you also need to be counted.
Including the mother-in-law.
And Coach Huffman said, include your mother-in-law. Don't leave your mother-in-law off.
And count those grown children that they still in your household, count them.
Okay, absolutely. Count everybody. We don't need to leave anyone excluded from this process. No one excluded. Now, one of the things that came to my attention, and I think Commissioner Berry brought this to my attention, is that we have a lot of citizens who do not have a mail receptacle in front of their homes, and they have a P.O. box. Commissioner, bring your mic a little bit closer to you, Barry, and talk a little bit about the P.O. box and why those people need to make sure they come out tomorrow or call one of these numbers.
Okay, anybody with a post office box that don't get the mail in front of the house, for instance, I get my mail at the post office in North Suburb, and I didn't get a census report, so I called the Census Bureau, and they told me they was not sending them out to anybody who had a post office box. And I've got several calls of people in the community that didn't get a census, and we helped them get it filled out. And each one of them was got the mail at a post office box. So it's very important, if you didn't get a census, it could be because you get your mail at the post office.
Okay, folks, there you have it. If you get your mail at the post office and you didn't get a census in the mail, we can still help you. We still have time to get you counted. Call one of those numbers, 334-724-2578, and you can get counted.
Another thing, Dr. Brooks, if they throw it in the trash can, you can still get counted.
That's right. I was about to say, if you get your get mail at home and you got it and you misspaced and can't find it, don't worry about it. Just call. Don't let anybody don't worry about that number that's on that form. We can get you counted without that number.
You don't need that form.
You don't need that form. We just need you to get in touch with us, and we can get you signed up in 6 minutes.
6 minutes, you're done.
All right, 6 minutes. 6 minutes can change the quality of our lives. And I know as I enter in my senior years, then I really want a nice quality of life. Nice streets, senior citizen programs, kids taken care of. And I saw on one of the flyers that the census can also help us with health care, and it can help us with law and safety. Let's talk about those things for a minute in terms of resources that come to our community, if you will. Who would like to take those questions?
Well, again, those federal funds that come into the state, and most of those federal funds, as people are familiar with, the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs. That's the agency for the state of Alabama that receives a great deal of those $13 billion that we've been talking about. And so many applications are made from local communities for infrastructure improvements, for equipment, law enforcement, sheriff vehicles, ambulance services, all kinds of resources, medical equipment. Just an array of different resources that a community can apply for are housed. Those funds are housed within the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, and so that's why it's so important just to return that census and be counted, because all of these federal funds are just population based, and so those resources are there. They could have more, and that's why you heard the governor, the governor's cabinet. You heard people from the various state agencies promoting the return of the census, because they understand that they can't respond to the communities if they don't have adequate number of resources. So it's just critical that we return each of the census forms.
And let me just add this, every grant application that goes in, one of the basis for considering that application, if they go look at the census tract, look at census data. That's important, because if the census data doesn't show that you have the population that you're trying to serve, then chances are you're not gonna get funded. Because Alabama as a whole received as the portion of that 13 billion plus based on the population. And they have to also do the same population mode to disperse those funds.
Okay, all right, so there you have it. How the census works, how it brings resources in the community, and how those funds are dispersed based on nothing more than numbers, our counts, which we refer to as the population. All right, something else I'm hearing in the community when we are going out, and many of us, in addition to the enumerators hired by Census, there are people hired by Census who have United States identification. They have a black portfolio with a blue and white U.S. Census emblem on it, who may come knocking at your door. But many of us as citizens have taken it upon ourselves to set up tables and to knock at doors of those we know as well. And upon doing that, we've gotten some interesting responses. And some of these responses are, oh no, I owe child support, and Judge Biggers may get me if I fill out the census. I think there might be a warrant out for me, and I don't want to see Bronson. You know I owe the tax man, so I can't fill out my census. Or I'm not in the United States as a legal citizen. Speak to these particular responses about filling out the census and talking about the myths surrounding the census, if you will.
Well, let me say this. Federal law states that this information cannot be used for any of those purposes. It cannot be used to check on child support. It cannot be used for no warrant. It cannot be used to even export somebody out of this country if they're here illegally. The census only requires if they're in that house, if they're in your house, whether they're illegal or not, then they must be counted. All this myths about your information being closed, the federal law protects you from that. This census data cannot be used for that purpose. They can't sell it like when you go get a credit card and they get your information, sell it all around the country. They cannot do, the law prohibits that. It cannot be used other than for the census database.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you heard it, and you can look that law up yourselves. I can't quote it right now, but there is a public law, a federal law, that prohibits census data from being shared with other agencies. So it cannot be shared with the sheriff, it can't be shared with the judge, it cannot be shared with the IRS representative, and it cannot be shared with ICE detainees. So your information is safe. Now, when you are filling out the census, commissioners, are you asking people for social security numbers, and are you running credit checks?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay,
No.
so ladies and gentlemen, there's no social security number that's asked for anyone who is counted on the census. If somebody asks you for your social security number, you need to let one of these guys here know, because something is going on that is smelling like a scam, because with the true census, your social security number is not asked for. And you guys said, no, you don't run any credit checks.
No credit.
Okay, nobody is running your credit. There are no car repos tied to this. If your car happens to get repoed, it's just a coincidence because you weren't able to make that payment. But it has nothing to do with the census. So we just want to knock down all of the myths that are in our community, because these myths hurt us in the long run, because those communities who don't harbor on these myths and fill out their census get the fruit of their labor. And guys, we need to get that fruit, and we're well on our way. All right, let's go back to our commissioners. Let's talk a little bit about a program I see on here that's funded by the census, and it's called the Head Start program. The Head Start program. Would anybody just like to speak for a minute about the Head Start program as one of our resources?
Well, we all know how important Head Start is to our community and to our society. Macon County has had a Head Start program since I can remember. And I remember Head Start go back, my mother many, many years ago worked with Head Start. So Head Start is so important, but again, the Head Start application, I participated in the Head Start application for the city of Tuskegee when I was on the city council. And believe me, census tract data comes into play because that information is there. Because one thing they do ask for is the age of everybody. So, you know, they already know how many children you have a certain age in that community based on the census data. So your award is based on, so we don't get the information in if data is not there. So every application, as I said earlier, ties back to the census and the census tract in the area that you're applying to provide service.
And Madam Superintendent, and just for, and I know a lot of us been, you know, just putting education and information out there so that everybody begins to have a framework of how decisions are made when you apply for something, you apply for grants, even individually, you apply for a loan. You know, somebody, even the zip code that you live in, it carries just a ton of information of what the demographics are for that, how many people live there, what the crime rate is, what the education status, what, just 1, 2, 3, 4, right on down the list. So that census tract that we've been talking about carries with it a ton of information. It tells whoever the reviewer is from outside of if you apply for a grant or apply for different resources, when they pull those census tracts, they know exactly how many people, what the demographics are for that tract of property. It could be a 10-block area within the city of Tuskegee, or it could be a 5-mile radius in another sub-area. So those tracts tell the individual who's actually reviewing your application for services or for resources all the information that it needs to make a favorable decision. So people, we want these agencies to make a favorable decision on these applications for services. And they can't do that unless you have the numbers. They're looking at the numbers, again, the numbers of all the people who reside in those particular areas and communities. And we're calling them tracts, but they're actually communities for which, you know, we're applying for resources.
Okay, all right, commissioners, tell us again for each of your areas, and I know the chairman is countywide, but for each of your areas, what are those communities you represent so people will know the general communities in your area? And again, we just learned a few minutes ago, if you were with us, that some of these districts are very interesting the way they had to be drawn based on population count. So Commissioner Robinson, you're District 1, and so what does District 1 entail in terms of communities?
District 1.
Pull your mic a little bit closer.
And as I always describe the districts as look at Macon County as a pie, and there are 4 pieces of a pie, and as we talked about earlier, equally divided. Each of the 4 districts has a piece of the city of Tuskegee. In other words, each of the 4 districts comes to the center of the city of Tuskegee. Tuskegee is almost dead center to the county. So east, west, north, south. District 1 is the area within in the center of Tuskegee, including the university community, Tuskegee University community, and everything going east into the rural area, Maryville subdivision, down Highway 29 north, and all of Little Texas. And up until recently, within the last census, it used to, just for information, it used to include Brownville and Society Hill. But because of that reduction in the number of persons that returned the census, we had to give some of that area to District 2. So, but that's basically the picture of where District 1 is.
Okay, so District 1 comes to the pivot in the center of Tuskegee, and then it also includes the university
Yes.
community. From there, then it goes up 29 north, And then it contains what
All-
on 29 North?
All of Little Texas, all the way
All of the Little
all the way
Texas
to the
community.
Lee County line.
All the way to the Lee County line. That's District 1. But as Commissioner Robinson said, previously, before this last census in 2010, it also contained Brownville, Society Hill. But those areas had to shift to District 2 because all 4 parts of the pie have to have what we can come to as perfect of equalization of population counts as we can.
There is a 5% differential either side of that exact number. It doesn't have to be exact 100%, but by law, there is a 5% differential of equalization for the 4 county districts.
And that's a statistical term, so you don't ever get perfection, but you can be plus or minus 5% is basically what's being said.
Dr.
So,
Brooks?
go ahead.
We do have a number here, I'm trying to help you out on Facebook here. For the SCL Foundation, they list a number here you can call 226 3063 334 3063. If you need some help, SCLC Foundation, that's the number you can call. They'll have somebody to assist you.
All right, we have the,
I said SCL Foundation. I may have said SCLC, SCL.
The SCL Foundation, who will be open tomorrow beginning at 9 o'clock to help citizens with the census. You can also call them for assistance. That number is 334-226-3063. That's Bernice Frazier and Darryl Rock. They stand ready to assist any of our citizens who need help with census completion. All right, let's swing over to District 2 now. Commissioner Huffman. And I'm always a little bit privy to District 2 because that's my home district where I was raised in the South Macon area. So again, when I found out that it stretched all the way to where it did, I was like, how is that even possible? So tell us what your district now entails because of these census lines.
As we sit
Pull your
here,
mic a little closer for us, please.
as we sit here this evening, we are stationed in District 2 this year now. District 2 take up most of the city. Like I said, District 2 take up, include both our major food stores, both our bank. District 2 is mostly made up of community, starting with Brownville, Society Hill, Gordonville, Warrior Stand, Quick Stand, Hannah, Rover, Crossroad, Armstrong, Bethlehem, Fort Davis, Downs, Cotton Valley, Spring Hill, Davisville, and Fort Hub. Like I said, District 2, right now, yes, our largest district. And it became our largest district because either one or two things happened. Some of the people moved out of District 2, or some of the people didn't vote in 2010, they fell at the census form. So we came up almost 1,000 people short. So that's the reason they added Society Hill and Brownville to District 2.
Okay, so now when we say District 2 is the largest district, do we mean in terms of population or do we mean in terms of square footage of land?
Square footage land-wise.
Okay, land-wise. So we want to make sure that that's clear because the districts plus or minus 5% are basically equal in population count. But the land span of District 2 is enormous, in my opinion. And so you heard it there. Let me put my glasses on. Most of the city of Tuskegee, Bournville, Society Hill, Brownville, Warrior Stand, Creek Stand, Hannon, Rover, Crossroads, Armstrong, Bethlehem, Fort Davis, Downs, Cotton Valley, Spring Hill, Davisville, and Fort Hope. Those are a lot of hamlets and communities in our county. But the population of all of those places is basically equal to the size of the population of the other districts. But the land mass, the square footage, is huge. Wow. All right.
And let me say that, and that's based on the census count, people who fill out their quorum for the 2010 census. Could very well mean have more people there, but they did not participate in the census.
Okay, so I think we said we were about 1,000 down. So, we can correlate that back to the census tract. Because if I remember looking at those areas that were in red, some of them were in District 2. Bournville, we heard you down there, and we need you guys to fill out your census. We heard some other areas, so we need to definitely make sure we show up in District 2 and get these numbers and counts back up, so Mr. Robinson can get his rightful areas back that are closest to him, and we can equalize the land mass in terms of District 2. All right, we have District 3. That is Commissioner Drew Thompson. I think Drew joined us by phone.
Commissioner Thompson, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner, I'm going to repeat you since you're on the line so that the Facebook audience can hear. Tell us what areas District 3 encompass.
District 3, I'm expecting a part of, Tuskegee as well, kind of starts there from Howard Road and tends to come back, towards Shorter, Hardaway, White Church, Tysonville. That's, pretty much the gathers most of, of course it goes out Washington Avenue down in Denton Avenue, that area of Tuskegee as well, is part of all of District 3.
Wow, all right, so that's some important information because I always thought that Washington Avenue and Benson Avenue were in District 1 because they were close to the university. So we are learning, ladies and gentlemen, that in the Tuskegee area, District 3 encompasses Howard Road, Washington Avenue, and Benson Avenue. Then it heads towards Shorter on 80, and it takes in Hardaway, White Church, Tysonville. Does it also include the Millstead area?
No, it does not.
Who does Millstead belong to?
4.
All right, so let's swing over now to District 4 with Commissioner Berry. What does your district entail? Pull your mic closer to you, Commissioner Berry.
Okay, District 4 is unique. We have 4 municipalities in District 4.
4?
Yeah, Franklin, Noblesville, Tuskegee, and Shorter. All of their city limits come into District 4 at one point. And so we join all the municipalities of Macon County.
That's news to me. I didn't know that.
And main way you can go, you go to the Lee County line, come all the way down to Torch 85, go down to I-85 all the way to the Shorter exit. And everything north of I-85 is District 4. If you go down to the Shorter exit in 229 going into Towson, everything north is District 4, and that's Millstead and Franklin and all of that area down there. And like I say, part of Shorter comes up in there, and then we jump over 85, coming up Highway 81. We come up Highway 81, a piece there, then we go down 199 and back up Roosevelt Heights in that area. That's back to.
Yeah, Madam Superintendent, I want to clarify on District 1, because District 1 covers really a heart, it's almost a heart of the city of Tuskegee. And most people, years before, long before I ever became a member of the commission, used to before a greater part of the city of Tuskegee was always, from the old school, was declared District 1. And now it actually goes a little further into the heart of the university community, but beyond that, the Green Forks area, Bull subdivision, and Culver Street, Hagan Street, all of that, and then coming into the university and then going out. What reminded me was that Commissioner Berry and I have sometimes we share a little fun. Sometimes I tell him to stay on the north side of 85 because he'll catch me over trying to get lunch sometime.
All right.
But at any rate, 85 serves the boundary to the north, and then everything going east.
All right. So the interstate service is a boundary, so let's just clarify District 4. We got a fact that District 4 is unique because it encompasses all 4 parts of all 4 actual municipalities. So that is unique. All of I-85 North, Milstead, Franklin, some of the shorter exit, Tallahassee exit, 229, 199, Highway 81, Rosenwald Heights, then it kind of jumps over 85. So you can see that our lines are zigzag all over the place because we have to get that population equalization. And so let us hear more on that, Chairman.
Well, I want to go back to District 1 just for a minute. When I first came to Tuskegee, as he said, most of Tuskegee was in District 1, and then everybody who got elected for that district came from Tuskegee. So that didn't make the people out in the rural area all that happy. So that was changed. That's, I think, as a result of that, and that's when Tuskegee was split up in 4-5, when Commissioner Robinson. That's right. So all districts came into Tuskegee to eliminate the population in Tuskegee dominating as far as representation. Right. But all of these districts, you know, we may have to do some again after this census. You know, every 10 years there's a possibility we'll have to adjust your line. It all depends in terms of what that variance. We will get the count, and we will know how many people in the various districts, and then we'll have to make that decision to draw the line. And sometimes that's not always popular because people say, well, you know, I'm in this district, and why are you putting me in this district? And hopefully we trying to set information as to why it happened. It's not because we just want to do it. It's by law we have to do it.
Okay, and knowledge is power. So folks out there who are listening via Facebook and who are listening online, help us educate other people. You know, we're pretty good on sharing information that may not be factual sometimes. It may be a little stretchy, but we can do our own research. Always be skeptical consumers of information. Look it up for yourself. Listen to those that you've elected to represent you so that we can know how this information happens. We're not just arbitrarily getting lines drawn from Macon County. There's a process to it. So this is important information and information we should be sharing.
Got a question here on Facebook. Want to know what district Malvern subdivision is in. I think the commission mentioned that that's in District 1.
That is in District 1.
All right. Now I want to clarify one thing so that we can make sure we're straight on this. Is that now we're saying Malvern subdivision is in District 1. That is county districts, correct?
That's
We're
correct.
talking about county districts tonight because, as I also understand it, municipalities may have representatives that may be called sections or districts or some other terms. So we have to make sure that when we say districts, we're looking at what kind of district we're talking about. There are also congressional districts. You know, you'll hear that we're in the 82nd district. You'll hear that we're in this district. And you say, well, how are we in all of these different districts? We have to look at what kind of district we are talking about at the time. And tonight we're talking about our county districts by commission, our commission districts here in Macon County. And that's what's divided across the county 4 ways into 4 sections where we try to equalize the population. So if the population is 10,000 and we divide that, well, let's make it 8,000 so I can make it easy on myself. If the population is 8,000 and we have to divide that 4 ways, then we would want about how many people in each district?
About 2,000.
About 2,000. Okay, one may have 1,995. This one may have 2,005, but they are very close in population numbers as far as being about equal. So we're talking about county districts. So when we say Marlboro, we don't want to confuse that with what goes on in the municipality that Marlboro is in, because that may be different for the city.
And them numbers coming from the census. Now, they don't just maybe be a road out there with 100 people on it, and it did but 5 of them fill out the census. That's all the people that's going to be counted on that road is 5.
All right, that is good information. If you only fill out the census, a limited number of people on a particular road, then guess where your road is going to be on the list of priorities as far as getting work done, getting repairs, all of those things. So just think about that. And even if you filled out your own census, make a pledge to get at least 10 people that you know that you're kin to that attend your church or in your organization to also complete their census, because I found friends and family, some that surprised me, who had not filled out the census. So look, you'll find some people. Sorority sisters, fraternity brothers, large members, church members, co-workers. Find folks who have not filled out the census and pledge to help them, because when you help them, you help our county, you help our state. All right. One other thing I had here, I want to go back over these numbers one more time. We have several numbers where you can get help with the census. Chairman Maxwell gave out his number. That's 334-339-1832. We also have the general census line, which is manned 24/7. And if you don't get a live call, you will get a return call. Okay?
Well, it's not manned, it's available 24/7.
It's available 24/7. Let me say that correctly, because we don't want anybody getting misinformation. So it's available 24/7, and you can leave a message if it's not manned at that time, and someone will get back with you. That's 724-2578. 724-2578. Then we have the SCL Foundation. That number is 334-226-3063. We also have Commissioner Mike Berry's number. That number is 334-703-5795. And of course, because the town halls will be open tomorrow, I'm pretty certain that you can call there and get direction as well. And those town halls again are Franklin, Notasulga, Shorter, and the municipal complex in Tuskegee. So that's several different places. But if you need help and you cannot get out tomorrow, call one of the numbers given or a person you know, and we will make sure that you get help with that census. Those of you who are on the line who are able to help other people complete their census, please do so. All right, gentlemen, at this time we have been on the call an hour, and we will go around and get any final words, salutations, or advice to our citizens. Commissioner Robinson?
Well, it has certainly been a pleasure this evening to go through this process of enlightening our citizenry and encouraging them and just letting them know information that will just help them understand the importance, the critical importance of returning the census and providing the census information. So I want to thank, first of all, the citizenry of Macon County for responding thus far, and encourage those who have not responded thus far to please, it is so critical for all the needs that you've heard expressed here tonight. And also I want to take this opportunity to thank all those stakeholders, those partners, community partners, those organizations, those individuals, beyond the Macon County Commission, of course, our coach and illustrious superintendent, Dr. Brooks, for all the leadership she has provided in this process. So just thank everyone for pulling together and just making Macon County a better place in which to live. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ditch all that, so I won't repeat none of that, hopefully. But I do want to take this opportunity to encourage each and every one who's listening, watching, or wherever you are, people you know, to let's get together and get somebody signed up. If you have signed up, make a commitment to sign up somebody else. Somebody else out there is waiting for you to help them. We need to check your street. Just assume that nobody's been down your street. Make sure everybody on your street has filled out their census, your street, road, or community. Please, we need everybody. We can do it, but we got to do it together. We can't do it by ourselves, but together we can make this thing happen. Together we will win this census bowl. I gotta say thank you, Dr. Brooks and the commissioners and all of our volunteers who come out, those who walk in, beat, those who own the phone, those who filling out, especially Colonel Boyd. I don't know if he's on the line, but I talked to him earlier, he said he had several. And we want to thank the Utilities Board of Tuskegee for their postcard they sent out, the Macon County Water Authority for their notice that they sent out, the Starminigan Water Authority. It made a difference. We've got calls on our line that we never had before. So we just want to make sure that we thank them because those are numbers that we wouldn't have had not been for them. So we certainly appreciate that, but we still need you, everybody, talking as though nobody's still out the census. I'm gonna tell you, like Dr. Brooks said, I found some close friend of mine. I found some PhDs that did not fill out their census that I fill out their census for. And there's nothing shame about that, but we just gotta assume that, we can't assume that everybody has done that, regardless of who they are, okay? If you know them, ask them. If you can help them, help them. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chairman, before you go any further, I'm back on the line, Dr. Harris. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Every living, breathing body in Macon County should be counted. I don't care where you live. If you're living and you are breathing, you must be counted. Thank you.
Right, Dr. Harrington interjected in there a very important statement. Every living individual, if you're breathing, you must be counted. That's 100%. All right. Commissioner Beard.
Okay, pretty much has been covered by my other two commissioners here and the chairman. But I just want to thank everybody for the hard work they've done to get us where we are today in the census count. It's very good to see people working together to make Macon County better, because that's what it takes for this county to get better, is everybody working together. And I've seen that in the last few weeks. Board of Education, City of Tuskegee, Noticeau, Franklin, Shorter. Everybody's been working together trying to get the numbers up. And hey, we still got to continue working together. I think Commissioner Robinson said this contest, the one we in right now, ends Thursday. Is that correct?
On the 30th, well, it ends the 30th.
I'm talking about the one now, the Final Four.
The Final Four, actually, we just started the Final Four today.
Yeah.
And then the contest will end on the 30th.
Okay, on the 30th. So, you know, we got to work hard. We got to beat Tallapoosa County. I'm from Noticeau, and we don't let Reeltown come down and whoop Noticeau. So let's just work together and get these numbers up, because I'm telling you, every road that somebody lives on this county, all they got to do is ask their next door neighbor, the one on the other side, and I guarantee you they'll get us some more numbers. So let's get out and talk to people and get these numbers where we need them. Thank you.
I think that did it. I think that did it, Commissioner Berry. When you said Noticeau has to quit Reeltown, we may get a skyrocket of numbers in the morning.
I think the clarification though, the Final Four competition will end on next Tuesday. We will know next Wednesday whether we in the finals.
That's correct.
That's correct. I think
That's what I was trying to
yeah, I think that's what you're trying to get.
Okay, yes.
All right, so the Final Four competition goes to September 30th, and we will know where we are in the standing. Right now, Macon County is in the Final Four. That means that we were able to get our census rates up quite a bit, but we still have much work to do. I think we have Commissioner Thompson still on the line. Commissioner Thompson, would you like to give some final words?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for their hard work. We've got to continue to feed the bushes, and you know, we talked about all the stickers. You know, we heard the stickers early on. There was, you know, for everyone who doesn't get counted, it has a $1,600 impact. And you know, 1,000 people don't get counted. That's $1.6 million of money that Macon County has lost in programs. So just continue to press hard, and we'll get done.
All Thompson just making a plea. If we lose $1,600 because 1,000 people didn't get counted, that's $1.6 million of money lost. So it's tremendous. All right, Commissioner Huffman.
Yes, I'd like to say it when you said Final Four, that brings back my coaching career.
I can't, I remember.
So right now, I'd like to ask the group, what is our game plan? And to me, our game plan is that we all got to work hard, day and night, to defeat Tallapoosa County. It's gonna take us each and every day, going out, working, beating the bushes. I was talking to Commissioner Berry today. You know, I had been asking people their name and phone number. Commissioner Berry said, Coach, what you need to do, get the name of the head of the household, and each and everybody that's in the household, get their age and date of birth and address, and you can bring that back and register people that way. So, money is out there, Macon County, we need the money. So let us go to work.
All right, excellent. Well, let me add this. Folks, we are in the Final Four in Macon County. We have gotten our census rates up. You heard the chairman give us our low areas where we were less than 50% and one as low as 22%. But I do want to tell you that in 2010, our census rate participation was 62%. 62% in 2010. And here we are in 2020. And even though we're in the Final Four, we sit at 53%. That is 9% lower than where we were in 2010. So we have work to do. Folks, let's blow it out of the roof. Let's shatter the ceiling. Let's go for 85%, 90, 95, 100. We can do it. This collaboration has been wonderful. And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. Chief Frazier, who's on camera, we thank you for being here to record this event, and we will show the full video via all of our media outlets in just a short time. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in giving a hand to our county commissioners.